The boy tries Baptist culture for the first time, but his mother dragged him into the women's bath. Though he's just 8 this year, he still feels embarrassed being naked. To cover his embarrassment, he has to bury himself in the water. He faced the most awkward moment of his life. I saw everything. So small and cute. Turns out it is like an elephant's trunk. Ah, so embarrassing. The boy instantly felt mortified because this girl was not only his neighbor, but also his classmate. On the first day, he introduced himself as Mark Johnson. His dream was to be Korea's president. The class erupted in laughter at that moment. The teacher intended to place him next to the girl, but the girl thought he was too clueless to even be president, let alone be a decent person. She absolutely didn't want to sit with a bragger like him. In the end, the teacher had to change his seat. Because of this, Mark became a bit insecure afterwards. Sure enough, days later they met again at the ladies' bath. This completely shut him down. He didn't dare speak to the girl again until graduation. 16 years flew by in a blink. The girl from that band, Zoe, has grown into a stunning beauty. She works as a lead dancer at a nightclub. One day, she rode the bus to work. Her sexy figure attracted the groping hands of a pervert. She was about to turn around, but unexpectedly, the driver slammed the brakes. The crowd behind her shifted positions. Unaware, Zoe thought the young guy was the same person.
What's up? Enjoying yourself?
Yeah, that's fine. Haha, feels good to grope others, huh? What? Grope what? You sick pervert. Where did this crazy woman come from? Oh, someone help! It's an assault! The guy was lost for words. The crowd swiftly led him to the police. After the police intervened,
They finally cleared up the misunderstanding.
seeing each other's faces made Zoe realize that the guy with the shifty eyes before her, it was Mark, her classmate who wanted to be president. They immediately went to a small bar to reminisce. Through their chat, Zoe learned Mark had been living a pretty tough life all these years. He hadn't passed civil service exams after college, and currently still doesn't have a stable job. Though she felt some pity for his plight, Zoe didn't know how to help him, so she could only take him to her workplace, help him ease the days of stress. At that moment, Mark realized that little girl who refused to sit next to him back then is now not only the star dancer at the nightclub, but also has any nightclub she performs at can practically ignite the crowd. Even talent scouts hidden in the crowd can't help but take notice of her. Afterwards, they handed her their business cards so she could contact them if she wanted to debut. Zoe was instantly thrilled because becoming a star has always been her dream. However, just as she was basking in her career's progress, a tear gas canister suddenly flew by her feet, and a large group of people was rushing toward them. They both realized they had walked into a crowd of protesters. They desperately tried to escape the scene, but riot police had already blocked the entire street. Mark tried to explain that they were just passing through, but ended up getting knocked out with the baton. Mark, with a concussion, ended up in the hospital. During this time, Zoe stayed by his side.
Yes, their bond grew warmer.
Before long, they got married.
And they had a child together.
After 8 years of relentless effort, the couple transformed from having nothing to being deeply in debt. This happened after Mark's exam failures. He studied law for 8 years and just scraped by, although he has now become a lawyer. But every day at the firm, she only handles trivial matters or small cases like emotional disputes. Basically, each month she earns just a base salary, barely supports a family of 3. So we didn't opt to be a star after marrying. Beyond everyday family care, she also works part-time as a fitness coach to make ends meet.
The couple's life is quite tight financially.
Often struggling to afford rent, rushing to borrow cash from her dad. Her friends knew Zoe had great talent in singing and dancing. They frequently urged her to join competitions to improve their financial situation. They believed that once married, a woman should stay home to raise the kids, which has led to a life of financial struggle. But one day, her daughter's casual remark completely changed her perspective. Her mother's dream was to be a singer. Look at how things turn out. I don't want to live like my mom did. Zoe chose to give up her dreams to become a housewife, only to find that even her daughter looked down on her. This undoubtedly struck a deep chord within her, so she reached out to her best friend to form a singing and dancing duo together. Set out entering next month's competition together. They trained hard together every day.
Finally made it just before the contest.
They restored their stamina to perform a full song, but on the audition stage, both performed exceptionally well. But in the end, they were cut for age limits. They sadly got dropped. Zoe sadly returned home. Even her favorite barbecue felt tasteless just when she seemed down. Thinking she was destined to be a housewife for life, a man suddenly visited the gym. Things suddenly took a turn. The man was a talent scout who had invited Zoe at a nightclub years ago. He had an upcoming girl group under his wing, but one member had an unexpected pregnancy, putting their months of training on hold.
In desperation,
He accidentally came across Zoe's audition video and immediately recognized her, the Shinka Madonna. He had favored her since years ago, and now his girl group needed to fill the vacancy.
He quickly came to invite Zoe to join.
Faced with such an opportunity to achieve her dreams, Zoe wouldn't foolishly miss out again, even though the girl group would be more challenging than the auditions.
She chose to secretly work hard.
After intensive training for some time, she finally caught up with the bathroom members. Just as the girl group was about to announce their debut, an unexpected news almost made Zoe gasp. Her husband, known at home as a loser, he quietly rose to be a mayor candidate. It began recently at the subway station.
A drunk man fell onto the tracks.
The platform was crowded with people, yet no one dared to help him. The train was approaching the station. At that moment, Mark was suddenly shoved down. In a panic, he quickly pulled the drunk man to the side. In the end, he saved the man.
But he was drenched in cold sweat.
Who was the bastard that pushed me? After word spread overnight, Mark was startled the next morning. A crowd of reporters blocked the door. They came to interview him as a hero for his brave act. Many media outlets launched deep probes into him. They even uncovered his past public service efforts. Soon, the name Mark skyrocketed to trending. He became a well-known figure in Seoul. TV stations often asked him to fill law shows. Even soccer games sought some attention. They invited him for the opening kick. It was then that
a former classmate of Mark reached out.
He turned out to be a congressman. His party was preparing for the mayoral election in Seoul. However, party members had their share of scandals, so they were looking for a suitable candidate. He had been extremely busy recently.
Just when he felt stuck,
he stumbled upon Mark, a national hero. Suddenly, a bold idea came to him. He wanted to back Mark for the mayor campaign. Mark initially thought it was a joke, though he's now quite a hotshot. He also knew that jumping in too fast could be absurd. He knew his own worth all too well. Who would elect someone recently unable to pay their rent as mayor? But despite Mark's doubts, his classmates said to him, "I believe in you. You're a well-recognized national hero. And you've worked your way up from nothing. People can feel hope through you. Your life story can inspire many."
With his classmates' overwhelming encouragement,
Mark, now worked up, confused, agreed. However, upon learning her husband was now a mayoral candidate, Jenna looked worried. On one hand, she worried her job would affect his campaign. On the other, she didn't want to give up her hard-earned future.
In the end, she had to keep the surprise from him,
choosing to temporarily hide it. As classmates named Mark a candidate on air, he quickly became a hot topic among the public. Many people were skeptical of him,
believing the grassroots comeback was unlikely.
To make Mark seem more competitive, his classmates gave him a fresh haircut, but also bought him several suits. In no time, they styled him as a respectable upper-class figure. But it's easy to change how someone looks, but inner change doesn't happen overnight.
Not to mention,
Mark's thick dialect in Korean is enough to cause headaches. "Hi everyone, I'm from Tob, Seoul. Are you the mayoral candidate, Mark? I might really lose it. It's not Tob District, it's Special City." "Yeah, it's Tob District." "Come on. Unique. Special City.
Tob District."
Oh. Soon, it was time for the first debate of the campaign. Compared to the other two smooth-talking candidates, Mark sat on stage, looking a bit lost.
He struggled to respond, left speechless.
The audience below were sneering at him.